I think it leaves out the rest of the countries in the region, quite honestly. I mean, I think there is a presumption that what sort of relationship the United States and China develop between them will be the main story in how the rest of the region develops, and I actually think that that's not right. I think that however the US-China relationship goes will be strongly mediated by how the other countries, significant countries in the region, react to that relationship and its dynamics, and they will actually be the swing players as to how the region develops into the future. Well, balanced disparity is a concept that an American scholar called Don Emerson came up with in the mid-1980s. And by that he meant that no country was big enough and powerful enough and rich enough to become really dominant in Asia, because the rich and together societies were all small, and the big populous societies were all poor and fairly incoherent. What has changed over time is that with the rise of China, of India, of Vietnam, of Indonesia, of Thailand, you suddenly have big, powerful countries, and it's changing the strategic dynamics in the region, because there really are countries that can start to exercise and really demonstrate regional leadership, and that's setting up all sorts of reactions and rivalries in this part of the world. I don't think it is. I think Asia has been growing very strongly, but it wasn't ready for a time in which suddenly it was catapulted to the centre of the global economy in terms of dynamism, stability, low risk and so on, when the United States and Europe had fallen over at the same time. Suddenly all eyes are on China in particular, but the other emerging economies in Asia as well, and you get the impression that they're not particularly ready for this era of leadership. I think for a start they don't particularly know what they want to do with it. They don't have any really formulated plan for how they want to change the global economic system. So suddenly they've got the voice and the leverage, but they don't have any idea what they want to do with it. And I think they'd really rather not be in such a prominent position where the eyes of the world are focused on them.
Yeah.
I think the basic Asian mindset is probably the post-confrontation mindset, and that was a realisation that for as long as the smaller Asian countries were fighting each other, competing with each other, lodging territorial claims against each other, they were always going to be involved in that sort of rivalry, and they were never going to have the space or the resources for development. So the Asian mindset is that stability is necessary for development, development is necessary for stability. As long as you keep that virtuous circle going, you will always prosper and you will be peaceful and stable as well. And for, let's call it 40 years between, let's say, 1965 and 2005, that worked a treat. What has happened, I think, is that as prosperity has developed in the region, as you've had social change, you're starting to see development lead to instability both domestically and between countries as well, as they compete over territorial claims and energy resources and interests.